Film fans of YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Josh, the Movie Apprentice, and today I am looking at Eileen, which releases tomorrow in cinemas, which I saw at the London Film Festival. This is directed by Oldroyd and stars Thomasin, McKenzie, Anne Hathaway, and Shae Whigham. And this follows Eileen, a young woman in her early 20s that spends her days fantasizing about sex and suicide whilst working at a prison before going home to her very abusive father. But her life is turned upside down when she forms a friendship with new prison psychiatrist Rebecca, played by Anne Hathaway. Before I get into my review, if you do like what you're seeing on our channel, do consider clicking that like button and subscribe for more video reviews like this coming all the time. But without further ado, let's get into this review. So I'm going to say up front that I wasn't a huge fan of this movie, and that is a shame for me because I am a massive Thomasin McKenzie fan. I've been a fan of her since seeing her in Jojo Rabbit, and she was very good in Last Night in Soho. So all I had to do was see her name on this to maybe interested in the movie to go into it without knowing anything about the plot. And then Hathaway being in it as well was obviously a selling point also. And the trailer for this, it pictures a Hitchcockian thriller, and it makes the film look like this very deep, sinister mystery. But unfortunately, this film for me just falls flat of the mark because, for the most part, a good 2/3 of this film's runtime is Thomasin McKenzie making doe eyes at Anne Hathaway. Eileen and Rebecca's friendship, while it is nice and very sweet, and there was definitely a hint at tension between the two when it comes to attraction and a possible relationship, the film spends too long on that side of things. And another side of the movie is the relationship between Eileen and her father, played by Shae Whigham. Her father is an ex-cop who is very paranoid and is a drunk, as all ex-cops are in movies. I know he's supposed to be an asshole in this, but he's a bit over the top in just how much he is an a-hole to Eileen, constantly putting her down at every small opportunity. And there's this whole scene when they're discussing if you can picture her with a gun that you see in the trailer. The whole context of the scene within the movie is very dark and very mean-spirited. The side of the movie where Eileen is a sexually repressed woman that has these fantasies about screwing with inmates and fellow officers, it's touched upon, but is never truly fleshed out. It never really plays a main focal point, and at times becomes more of a distraction as it doesn't really play into anything that takes place over the course of the film. It's sadly very dull, and while it is shot nice and gives us this old school feel to the thrillers of old, it fails to really live up to any sort of intrigue that these old films would present. The film finally does pick up at a certain point, but by the time this certain point comes around, the film is 2/3 over. And by the time things really feel they start to get going and interesting things start to take place, the film ends. The film has this two plot structure, in my personal opinion. It starts off with Eileen meeting Rebecca and them getting close. Then it gives us an inciting incident with 20 minutes to go in this movie. And whilst there are some really good performances in this, when we get to the final few minutes and there is a sense of, I feel like I should have been shocked or saddened by a certain revelation, but this revelation was fairly obvious, and I felt nothing when the film came to its climax. I didn't feel no triumph. I felt no sadness. I felt no enjoyment. The idea of these two dancing around their desires for each other in a time period that was very against same-sex relationships to the point of absurdity, that never feels like it is truly fleshed out. And when we get to our inciting incident in the final third, it feels like the film took too long to get interesting, which is a shame because I did want to enjoy this movie. I enjoyed the concept of it, but the execution fell flat for me. And I think it's another one of those scenarios where I feel like I have to read the book for this because it feels like it would be much better from a book perspective. Before I get into my grade, if you like what you're seeing on the channel so far, click the like button and subscribe for more video reviews like this coming all the time. But without further ado, let's grade this. So Eileen is a movie that had a nice concept, but it takes too long to really get interesting. And when the film is 2/3 of Thomasin McKenzie making doe eyes at Anne Hathaway, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to really sink your teeth into in this. As I have stated, the film takes too long to truly get going. And when it finally does get going, the film kind of stops. It's almost like Spirited Away in the fact that it takes forever to get to the train scene, and the film ends 20 minutes after that scene. But at least with Spirited Away, you had a fantastic movie leading up to the train journey. But with this one, it's a movie that has a good 20-30 minutes of build up that gets extended for an extra hour, and unfortunately does fall flat for me. I'm gonna have to say that for me, Eileen is a lukewarm cup of tea. So Eileen, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Again, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and follow me on Letterboxd for more written reviews like this, and notification bell for more video reviews like this coming all the time. But until next time, everybody, my name is Josh. I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you all in the next video.